Yo, what's going on, man? It's your boy PJ the Best, and you here with the new show, Ghetto News. And we're gonna sit here and pay attention to how you supposed to be talking about people. And we ain't all the same. Now, I ain't seen the show, but we're gonna watch her. See what she got going on.
All right, good afternoon, and thank you everyone for braving the inclement weather as we gather to take an essential step forward in the long and ongoing fight for justice, accountability, and healing.
Now, House of Democrats hold a press conference briefing about the get it right introduction of reparation logistics.
For Black America. Today, I'm deeply honored to reintroduce H.R.40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals for descendants of enslaved Africans. It is an honor to inherit the privilege of carrying this forward. From Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. In my last correspondence with her, she said, keep working on our priorities and never give up. She was a previous House sponsor of H.R.40 and a true giant in the movement for reparative justice. We are grateful for her leadership. We are grateful for her example and her voice. May she rest in peace and power. And we are grateful to be joined here today by her daughter, former Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter, who today, when I thanked her for braving the elements to journey here, said true justice is never convenient. I want to acknowledge some of our partners in good trouble in this fight. Senator Cory Booker, our co-lead in the Senate, Chair.
Now, she done bust out a tear. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that the lady ain't did her thing and whatever the case is, but
Woman Yvette Clarke of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, Congresswoman.
now, the Black Caucus, they don't do nothing for black folks, but they do for black folks. Make that make sense.
Latifah Simon, Congresswoman Summer Lee, and the more than 70 members of Congress who have signed on to co-sponsor the legislation that was first introduced. And I want to make this point because it is Black History Month. And while there are those that are working actively, either to erase our history or to whitewash it, that I'm here.
All right. How are they erasing our history? And if they is erasing our history, right, they've been doing that. So what makes now so special?
In this moment to pick up the mantle of this historic legislation that has been championed by John Conyers, Congressman John Conyers, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. That was introduced more than 30 years ago when Congressman John Conyers was a co-founder of the Congressional Black Caucus. We're at a critical inflection point in America, and the moment cannot be more urgent. With Black history under attack and white supremacy emboldened, there is no better time to introduce this bill than during Black History Month, a time when we reflect on our history, our struggle, and our collective power. And I'll say, it is also not only about Black history, but it is about Black futures. More than 4 centuries ago, Africans were kidnapped, trafficked, and enslaved, forced to build this country under horrific brutality, an economy which we still benefit from today. Rice, sugar, tobacco, cotton. And even after the Civil War, emancipation, and the 13th Amendment, the legacy of slavery endured in other forms, codified in law to deny Black Americans freedom, opportunity, and dignity. And that's what brings us here today. This brutality, these injustices, these horrors were not things just happened within the culture by osmosis. They were legislated. Today, with Donald Trump and Republicans waging their coordinated and at times unlawful assault on black.
There you go. That's the blame game right there. Now, the reason why I stopped there right there is because Shawty just sat here and said this is the best time to do it, right? If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Clyde Anderson Ben said how we supposed to break this down. Now, how this becomes sexist is because she didn't go across the board with, this person and that person. She only named women. Now, I love black women. So you can't tell me nothing about how that shit go. I'm not finna sit here and argue about the women of my culture. But what I am gonna say is right here though. She got a bald head and she got on a damn near almost a suit. So we already know that this right here is a part of the different letters. But they're gonna use black to try to sit here and strong arm something they could have had did multiple times. Like why now she's stepping out? Before, I've been alive since Biden. And if she was out there, she wasn't making no noise. But all of a sudden Trump get in here, she got something to say. Let's get back to it, man.
Black folks in black history, we will not allow that history to be erased. We will not allow it to be whitewashed. H.R.40 is a powerful reminder of the work that remains and offers us a pathway toward truth, reconciliation, and accountability. To be clear, this bill is not a symbolic gesture, but rather a meaningful step toward repairing the deep structural injustices that continue to harm black communities today. The racial wealth gap in America is not an accident. In Boston, my home city, the Federal Reserve counts black wealth at just $8, compared to the wealth of white households at $247,500. Nationwide, the racial wealth gap is over 10 trillion. That's trillion with a T. This shameful reality is the direct result of generations of precise, intentional policy harm codified into our laws and budgets. And it is specifically the result of slavery and the anti-black society that followed. From Jim Crow to redlining to mass incarceration, our government, through policies and budgets, has perpetuated and entrenched these harms for generations. The disparities that we...
Now, stop it right here because as a black man in America, you could tell that she got benefits from Biden. Now, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I actually voted for the couch, so I really don't have a dog in this fight. But one thing I do know, when a motherfucker being dirty, she ain't never say that shit when that dude, Hunter was in there doing crack, bro. That nigga was hitting the whole stem in that motherfucker like. But she got a problem now. If I'm not mistaken, like I'm 33 years old. I know that she's older. So it look like she's doing the work of the other side. So her argument is fake because shit, all the people that she named have nothing to do with what's going on in real life. Think about it.
see in health outcomes, housing, education, wealth, and more are by design. Today, our government has a moral and legal obligation to right those wrongs, and reparations are a necessary step towards achieving justice. Now, here's what the bill would do. H.R.40 creates a federal commission, an expert body charged with investigating the enduring impacts of slavery and its aftermath, and developing concrete proposals for reparations. This is a pragmatic policy that is fundamentally about repairing harm and building a more just America. Whether you are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Trenton, New Jersey, or Mattapan in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District. This is about ensuring that every...
Now, she named a couple Black Wall Street. Now, why would she do that? These places been here for years. Once again, man, these folks ain't dumb. This shit been going on. All of a sudden, Trump sit here and getting at them about all the money they taking. All of a sudden, they want some money now. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for reparation. But I do know all that shit don't go to every black person, man. That's for sure. I think it was more goddamn illegals getting benefits than real average American people. Everything they be talking about, DEI, all that shit, that doesn't happen for everybody. So her opinion about what she's saying is bullshit. Yeah, everybody want reparation, but does that touch every black person in America? No. If that touch every black person in America, it should be easy like using my social security number. Now, my only argument is why you didn't have that same smoke with Biden. That nigga literally was letting y'all run it up. Everybody was hushing. Actually, y'all telling the black man to shut up. Let's get back to this shit. This shit crazy.
Person has a fair chance at the American dream. Now, I know some like to think that Rosa sat, Martin marched, and John crossed a bridge, and we were free. But we are still very much in the civil rights movement. Every day, the progress that we have fought for, the gains that have been made, are under assault and being rolled back. Donald Trump and his co-president Elon Musk and their enablers in Congress and the courts are working overtime to strip away our rights.
Now, as a black man in America, I felt more strict when he was in office, when Biden was in office. I probably was more rigid when Trump was in office. And stop acting like the man wasn't in office before, man. Stop that shit. Don't working over hard. No, y'all got people sitting here using the benefits of the Constitution. Y'all let them run habits. I don't get food stamps. I don't get none of that shit. I pay child support, I pay bills, and I pay taxes. That's for sure. So, for her to sit here and try to represent black cause, who died and made her boss?
From gutting affirmative action, dismantling voting rights, to attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that benefit black folks and everyone who calls this country home.
Who is everyone? Who is everyone? I said black and then everyone. Who is everyone? See, there you go. You want to start adding in other motherfuckers. You mad because he letting other motherfuckers come in and steal my language. That's bull. Because the whole time y'all was running them up, and nobody had nothing to say. But all of a sudden, he started taking these people out. Oh, now, they been violating all this stuff. Everybody been violating. That's why Biden did what he did, and that's just as much as the Democrats been doing what they doing. And you talking about, and Elon Musk ain't nothing but a businessman. Why you tripping on? Because last time I checked, her ain't built like that. So I don't trust her with my money. So why you acting like that?
I think it's really important in these times that we call a thing a thing. We're in a moment of anti-blackness on steroids, and we refuse to be silent. We will not back down in our pursuit of racial justice. And while we do the work of resistance and blunting the many harms of this hostile, anti-black administration, it's imperative that we continue advancing an affirmative agenda for Black America and building momentum toward this critical priority. So today we have a choice. We can continue to uphold an unjust status quo, or we can work actively to disrupt it. We can allow our history to be erased, or we can actively engage in truth-telling. We can and we must confront our past and take meaningful steps to repair the harm that has been done. H.R.40 is an opportunity to do exactly that. And now, I'd like to introduce Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am former Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter of the 18th Congressional District of Texas, and I am the surviving daughter of the phenomenal Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. May we forever say her name. It has been said that the time for justice is always right now. It is my honor to stand here with a warrior for justice, dedicated leader, and prominent legislator as we pass the torch to the Honorable Ayanna Pressley as she takes up the righteous fight for H.R.40. This fight against injustice is personal to her and me. H.R.40 is long over.
All right, H.R.40. I don't even know what that shit is. Ain't nobody send me no letter in the mail about no H.R.40, so how is that for every black person? Once again, you busting moves, ain't told nobody, but yet you out here representing and trying to get mad about some shit that you talking about, man. Ain't nobody trying to hit it, man. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down, man. If I'm not mistaken, the women usually be the one that talking about the past is the past. All of a sudden now we're going to the past now. Oh, okay. Now the past matter now. If I'm not mistaken, as long as I've been living, they always tell me you can't worry about the past. But now all of a sudden the past matter. That's can't make it up, man.
Due and even more necessary under this administration, as hate is fomented, discrimination is promoted, and code words are used to bring out the worst in our fellow Americans. H.R. 40, first filed by the Honorable John Conyers, who understood that from our nation's very founding, the enslaved of African descent were shut out and disparity was written into our Constitution. Since 1995, my mother, the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee, worked closely with Congressman Conyers through her service on the Judiciary Committee and the Congressional Black Caucus. Over those years, they traversed this country to connect with advocates, activists, scholars, congressional colleagues, staff, neighbors, and friends to spread the word that H.R. 40, and dismantle rumors that it was just a check or a useless exercise. They and we know that we are nothing without a record and official documentation. You cannot right wrongs without an accurate record of those wrongs. This is what America needs.
What it sound like, he probably about to cut the money of the Black Caucus. Mm-hmm. They been getting all that money, ain't been doing nothing for black folks. And now they trying to step up to the fight. But look, check this out, man. We ain't gonna be on this thing all day. Man, look, yo. These folk, and I ain't saying that these people are evil, not like that, and I respect whatever they got going on. But I'm telling you, though, this shit been going on. Dr. Clyde Anderson been writing for years. He been told her what to do. Malcolm X told us what to do. She only named a couple of people. Like, if that's the only people that we know about when it comes to history, like, nah, man, it's 2025. We know about some people. Hell, Lombard Institute was a black, I mean, we know about some people, man. So, and if I'm not mistaken, y'all go to Lombard Institute, I don't think they get no funding for that. They've been thugging that shit on their own. So, and here we in North Carolina, so you talking about being black. I don't know about Boston like that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, they probably got a couple of streets, but it ain't no Carolina black. So for them to be representing us, or be representing, you know, this FBA or however y'all want to call it, nah, because y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all probably part of that liberal stuff. All of us ain't liberal, I said liberal, but liberal like that, you know what I mean? Like, again, I voted for the couch, so I don't give a fuck what neither one of them do. What I do know is, y'all ain't had that same smoke until the old buddy got down and started talking about cutting some fun. And seeing how y'all, it's like a little episode of Boondocks when there was a BET white man coming in like, hey, that one was all mean as hell. But already, man, it's your boy BJ the Best, man.